Okay, guys, you should have your spirals open. You should be ready to go. See, y'all had me last year, so you already know. We're doing 1.2 number lines. Oh, that's another thing. They're not used to my handwriting. They're like, what is that? What is that?
Your handwriting isn't bad, though.
But you're used to it.
Yeah.
So, number lines, opposites, and absolute values. I've already told them I will misspell things. I will make mistakes when doing math. Y'all just have to correct me. They don't understand. That's something else y'all can explain to them. All right. Integers. It's kind of what pre-algebra did. And it's funny how your algebra 1 and pre-algebra go kind of close to each other. But I can see, and I should show y'all, but I don't have time today. I should show y'all their notes versus yours. Theirs very detailed as to what an integer is. They, it's brand spanking new. You guys, I have like a third of the notes. Very little. Integers are numbers and their opposites. They had a whole paragraph there. Y'all don't need a whole paragraph. I love teaching Algebra 1. For example, 2 and -2. Oh. See? Whole numbers and their opposites. Y'all know this, right?
Yep.
-6 and 6. See, they took up most of the page on this stuff. I'm already almost done. I'm telling you, I love teaching pre-algebra and algebra. I told them they were a little scared, and I said, no, I love this stuff. I'd rather teach pre-algebra and algebra all day long than any other math. Okay. Here's my weird number line, and in pre-algebra, I'm like 1, 2, 3, 4. Algebra 1, we start skipping things. -2, -4, -6.
What's this one?
First day is not bad. Cecilia, what happens when we move this direction? What are the numbers larger or smaller? Going this direction. That's smaller. They're getting smaller. How about this direction? There you go. My watch is telling me it's already time to stand up. It's so confused.
What do you mean by that?
Because during the summer, I was very active. Now I'm sitting at a desk and teaching, and it's like, no, you need to stand.
Stand up.
Okay, so let's compare. -6 and -2. Cecilia, which one is larger? Bingo. -2 is larger than -6. So -6 is less than -2. If I were to put -6 here and a -2 here, Taylor, drink quietly, please. I'm guessing that's tea. Okay. See, something. Okay. We need to start taking notes all year on stuff we can do for the
For the end
Quizlet.
of the year.
the end of the year thing.
Yeah.
So, okay, so
Like
T is
me,
definitely
like
one
me.
of them. Instead of us trying to figure it out like overnight, we'll just start keeping tabs on that. Okay. Any questions so far? This is like a little review. All right, here we go. Now, y'all have been doing that kind of a number line. In Algebra 1, they also do what's called a vertical number line. And the only difference is it goes, ooh, my line. It goes up and down. Up here is going to be your positives. Down here is going to be your negatives.
I feel like vertical number line takes up more space.
Well, absolutely. What does it remind you of? Raise your hand. Taylor?
Stem, I love stem.
Okay, it can. Yes.
A ladder.
Okay. Cecilia? Thermometer?
Is there a right answer to this?
No. But there is one thing that I'm waiting on someone to
It
say.
looks like the line graph of the other way.
Okay, line graph going the other way. Cecilia?
Elevator?
Oh, okay, an elevator.
Can you just
Gabby?
Where it's pointing down, it's like getting smaller.
Okay. Michael?
Escalate.
Escalator going straight up.
Yeah, straight up.
Look,
All the way up.
Aiden?
And like, you know when you take your height, like how
Measuring tape?
yeah, I know, like the height thing.
Can you just tell us?
Like at the jog.
How about if I were to do this? And you don't have to write this.
Oh.
Oh no.
Oh.
Do you remember this?
I actually like that.
Okay, so remember the Cartesian plane and slope and all that stuff? Okay, so that's why Algebra 1 starts doing this right in the very beginning to get y'all used to this. Vertical number line. I liked all y'all's answers. All right. And even though this is common sense, you have to write it. Opposite numbers. And if you can't see, you need to move to a desk nearby. Numbers that are same distance from 0 but are on opposite sides of 0. There's your example. Common sense, blah, 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 blah. -2 is the same distance from 0 as +2.
I'm having mistakes.
That's okay. But y'all, it's common sense. Y'all know. If I say what's the opposite of -18, you know it's 18. And it's the same distance from both of them are same distance from 0, just on opposite sides. Common sense. And for my other two classes, they aren't used to me. So I would write something like this, and they would look at me like, what does that mean? Hold on, I'll explain. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, okay. So they'll get used to me. Put your pencils down when you're done so I know that you're done. Okay. All right, moving right along.
Indeed.
Y'all are probably going to move faster for a week or two than the other classes too. Just because they're still like figuring out how to use the graph paper,
Made it all at once.
you know what I'm saying, and heading and stuff. All right, absolute value, but they'll catch on. Absolute value is the number of units, distance, Taylor, stop talking, please, between 0 and the numbers on a number line. Absolute value answers are always what? Positive or negative? Positive unless negative on outside. While y'all catching up, they changed the 7th grade book slightly. Some of the problems are different than in my teacher's edition.
Uh-oh. Right.
Not happy.
So you have to buy a new one?
No, this is last year for pre-algebra here, so I'm just gonna have to look ahead. This is gonna be a fun year. Hopefully y'all's are all the same.
This Rogers, why did he give us a 12,000 digit problem?
Well, like one of them had to do, the problem had a negative in there. I didn't even teach it because it's never been in there. And I had to just quickly run up there and show them what it means. I mean, it was really different.
We can just bring our old books back.
I wish.
I still have mine.
Okay. Example. Here we go. I felt bad for him because that's terrible to do that.
Look why.
Okay. I only had to teach you how to write the bars. I had to teach them because it's new. Remember, your absolute bars should be longer than whatever digit is inside. Otherwise, it's going to look like a 1. This would, if your handwriting's terrible, it's going to look like 131. You don't want that.
Yay.
What's the absolute value of 3?
3.
Okay, you need to raise your hand, Gabby. Thank you, Gabby. It is 3. What is the absolute value of -3? Raise your hand. Aiden.
3.
3. Very good. No matter whether it's positive inside the bars or negative inside the bars, your answer will always be positive. There's exceptions. Let's go over that in a minute. What's the absolute value of -25? Raise your hand. Taylor.
25.
Very good. Absolute value of 16. Raise your hand. Emily, thank you.
16.
Good. What is -3? That's in parentheses. Raise your hand. Taylor?
-3.
Yes. Ooh, see the difference? That's not absolute value. So if it's in parentheses, it stays the way it is.
Because it's not absolute value.
Because it's not absolute value. So 3 in parentheses is what, Whit?
3.
There you go. Be careful with that. You're in Algebra 1, they're going to try to trick you. And in fact, that's what they did with the pre-algebra book. And I'm suspecting they've made it a little bit more difficult to try to trick them in that.
Yay.
You know, because their absolute value stuff, they just had absolute value. But in reality, they have to know the difference between the absolute value and the parentheses. You guys are dealing with both at the same time, to so much so that they made sure to include that in examples.
Yeah.
What if I had a negative outside 3 in parentheses? What would that be, Cecilia? That's right. You're correct. Now, Michael, what if I had a negative outside of parentheses with a -3? What would that be? Do you remember?
3.
Very good. Okay. See, this is what I had to teach them. This was new in their book. And they were like, what is that? And I'm like, oh, why would you do this to me? Okay, so negative outside of parentheses negative means positive. Y'all remember that? Negative outside the parenthesis of a negative is a positive. Now, look at this. I got 2 stars here. If I have a negative outside of absolute value of 3, positive 3, Gabby? It's going to be -3. The reason is you bring down the outside negative and you take the absolute value of 3 out of absolute value. So this would be negative, and the absolute value of 3 is 3. Therefore, your answer is -3. I'm going to put a box there. Do y'all see that? Emily, do you understand? Any questions? So if the negative is on the outside, your answer's going to be negative. Now, what if I did this? Emily, what do I do with this outside negative? Bring it down. And what is the absolute value of -3? So what is your answer? Perfect.
You sure love your 3s.
Okay. So look at the difference between these two. If you look, when it's parentheses, a negative in front of negative becomes a positive. That is not the case with absolute value. See, already 1.2, they're trying to, trick you guys. You've got to take it slow, attention to detail, remember the rules. Absolute value, that rule does not apply. You bring down the negative. You take this, you solve whatever is in here, and then take it out of absolute value. And then that's going to be your answer. At no time is whatever in here going to be negative, right? But if there's a negative on the outside, notice your answer is negative. Okay? Any questions?
Is your favorite number 3?
Okay, Taylor, shh, that's not a question. That is appropriate. Okay, so something different that I'm including that I haven't in the past and I'm going to definitely now is the formula for length of a segment. Formula for length of a segment. Length equals the absolute value of B minus A.
Those are like slashes, right? Or is that
That's absolute value.
Okay.
Those are, it should have been more up and down.
I was just making sure.
For example, if I had M and N, and say this is 2 and this is 8. If they ask you what is the length of that, absolute value, what is, and B is the second number. B is the second number. So what would I put first? 8 minus, what would A be? 2. Do y'all see what I'm doing?
Yep.
So if I want to know, if they ask what's the length of this line segment, okay, we know what the length is. But a lot of times they're going to give you some weird numbers. So B is your second number, so I have that first. A is your first number, so 8 minus 2. Still an absolute value. What is 8 minus 2?
6.
And what's the absolute value of 6?
6.
There's your answer. Any questions? Okay, put your pencils down when you have this so I know that you've got it. All right. Michaela, do you have it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Formula for midpoint of segment on a number line. So it's M equals A plus B divided by 2. So, for example, here's my number line. And they're looking for the midpoint, like where in between is the midpoint. Remember, midpoint is like in between. So what is the midpoint of this line segment? So what is, well, in this case, it's kind of obvious. What is A? Anyone? 4 plus, what is B, Michaela?
10.
Divided by what, Aiden?
2.
All right. So 4 plus 10 is 14 divided by 2. Your midpoint is 7. Any questions? Okay, no questions. Open up your book to page 10 for examples. Okay, I need to see that everyone's book is open to page 10. Now you wake up. All right, going around the room. Michaela, you're my first victim. For number 10, it says state the coordinate of each point. So 10 is S. What is S on the number line?
1.5.
Yep, it can be 1.5 or 1.5. And remember, we box our answers. 12. Gabby. 20. U is 20. That's terrible grammar. All right. 14. Emily. Negative. Oh, where's W? Huh? Look again.
What do you mean?
It's going from 0 to 10 to 20, and then 0 to negative 10 and negative 20. So 14 is W. Yes, it's smack dab in the middle, so it's -5. See what I mean? The number lines are going to change for Algebra 1. You've got to watch, what are they going by ones, are they going by twos, tens, etc. You've got to really be careful with that.
If it's even a pixel off.
Okay, ooh, let's see who can get 16. Taylor? What is Y? And we're looking at the vertical number line. This is how you know you're in Algebra 1.
Okay. .75. Wait, negative 0.75.
Okay, it can either be negative 0.75 or negative 3/4. Because if you notice, if you go from 0 to 1, -1 is divided right there in the half. So basically, the Y is in between half and -1. So you're going like by fours. 1/4, a half, and then 3/4 of the way down. That's how you know you're in Algebra 1 right there. All right, next, state the opposite of each number. 18 is 17. What is the opposite of that, Michael?
Negative 17.
Very good, Michael. 20 is negative 1.3. Whit, what is the opposite of negative 1.3?
1.3.
No,
Oh wait, no.
no, I'm joking.
Oh.
You're correct. Oh, see, don't y'all mess my humor.
Yeah.
Okay, 22. It says find each absolute value. What is the absolute value of -2, Aiden?
2.
2. Very good, Aiden. All right, we're going to drop to 28. Cecilia. It says perform the indicated operations. 28 is the absolute value of 12 12.46 minus 3.89. See all the decimals? Okay, so you need to perform this. You can do it on scratch paper or off to the side. So you have 12.46. And when we're adding and subtracting, what do we do to the decimals? Cecilia? Very good, you line them up. So off to the side, go ahead and start doing that and then tell me what you get. What'd you get? Okay, we're subtracting 12.46 and 3.89. So can I do 6 minus 9? What do I have to do? And that becomes a? And this becomes? What's 16 minus 9? Can I do 3 minus 8? What do I have to do? 13 minus 8. Bingo. Bring down your dot. What is 11 minus 3? There you go. So it's the absolute value of 8.57. So Cecilia, what is the absolute value of 8.57? Bingo. Y'all are going to see a lot more decimals, so that's why I said get ready. Okay, I mean everyone does. 30. Back here to, yes ma'am?
For subtracting, instead of crossing out the 4 first, I just went all the way to 1, and I worked backwards.
I would do one at a time
Okay.
because that could throw it off.
I thought you couldn't borrow from 4 cents if you did 4 minus 8.
No. You borrow from the number right next, bring it over there, and then because this may still work out. What if this was like a 9?
Then I would have used it first.
Okay, but so don't start over here. Just go one number at a time, okay? All right, 30. So, Michaela, this is yours. Absolute value of -9 plus absolute value of -4. So, tell me, what is the absolute value of -9?
9.
9. And then we bring down our plus sign. What's the absolute value of -4?
4.
Okay, and 9 plus 4 is?
13.
And there's your answer. Any questions? All right, y'all have it? Okay. 32. Gabby. -86, absolute value of -86 minus absolute value of 10. So what is the absolute value of -86? What do I do to my negative sign? And what's the absolute value of 10? So then 86 minus 10 is? Very good. All right. Any questions so far? Oh my. Emily. 34. Absolute value of -2/7 minus absolute value of 2 over 7. So, Emily, what is the absolute value of negative 2 over 7?
2 over 7.
What do I do to my negative sign? What's the absolute value of 2 over 7?
2 over 7.
What is 2 over 7 minus 2 over 7?
That's not 0.
Yeah, don't doubt yourself. Emily's like, I know you, girl. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and set you free. 36 and 38. No, let's just do 36 and then I'll set you free. 36, it says a segment has endpoints with given coordinates. Find the length of the segment and the midpoint of the segment. So 36, these are your endpoints. We'll just do this one, I'll set you free. Okay, so we're going to start with the length of the segment. Remember that length is what is the formula? Let's see, Taylor, you're next.
The formula is L equals the square root of B minus A.
Absolute value? Or square root?
Absolute value.
There you go. Absolute value of B minus 8. 8, not 8, A. Okay, so Taylor, keeping it in absolute value, what is B?
1 through 259.
Very good, 259. Minus what?
137.
There you go. Because this will be your A and this will be your B. So then, Taylor, what is 259 minus 137?
122.
Very good. What is the absolute value of 122?
122.
Very good, Taylor. Any questions about how to find the length of the line segment? All right, Taylor, let's do midpoint. What's the formula?
M equals A plus B over 2.
All right. So, what is A?
137.
What is B?
259.
All over 2. All right. What's 137 plus 259?
$386.
386.
$396.
Very good. What's 396 divided by 2?
$198.
Perfect. There you go. Any questions how to do this? All right. I'm going to set you free. You are doing page 10. You are doing numbers. One. Okay. 9 through 33 odd. No. 35 odd. 14 problems. And honors, you're doing numbers 11 through 35 odd and 43. Okay. This is all due Tuesday. All right, get to work. Y'all know the routine.
Yep, so we have an equal amount, honors and
Yep. I never give more.